Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast between OGS's the STC versus FruitSeller here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. FruitSeller spawning as the red Zerg player on the north side of the map. Meanwhile, the STC spawning as the green Terran player on the south side of the map. So Terran versus Zerg here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. Both players pretty well known, and I want to just see, perhaps this is just one of those practice games because FruitSeller is also known as oGsTheSC, and obviously they are on the same team. So I want to see how exactly these two teammates practice and play against each other. Gonna throw up that actions per minute, and you can see both sides spamming away at 300 actions per minute versus 150, and FruitSeller not even spamming that hard, only getting in about 115, 120, so not too bad of an opening there. We do see STC now getting a barracks first before a supply depot. So yes, getting a barracks first before a supply depot in order to make sure that there is no sort of an early 6-pool play, and now going for a refinery as well. So it looks as though STC now going with a 9 racks into a refinery is trying to go for Reapers. So the STC now trying to go for Reapers, and this strategy may not be around for very much longer just because of the potential changes in patch 1.2. One supply depot finally being placed down here, and now we should probably see an SCV also being trained out in just a moment. A little curious about the positioning on this barracks. I do not think there's enough room for a tech lab here, so it will be forced to lift off, and that will delay those Reapers for just a moment. Oh no, just enough room squeezing in between those, in between that position right there. So I am mistaken. As an SCV now moves out in order to do some scouting. SCV will be able to activate this Xel'Naga Watchtower and then move back over here. As that tech lab finishes, we do see that spawning pool already down. It looked as though it was a standard 14 pool, as now an SCV making its way to the north. It will see that there is no early hatchery, so without an early hatchery, he knows that most likely there is a spawning pool already down, and there's already a extractor up, so that extractor will be able to get enough gas for the spawning pool to get that early metabolic boost. Now we do see a Reaper being trained out of here. No nitro pack yet, so perhaps just trying to mass up more and more Reapers. You can see a double rally point here, so that Reaper will be able to get there, and he may be trying to use that long jump technique. I'm not 100% sure. Does it? No, not the long jump technique. It's one of those things where the Reaper can actually jump a very, very long distance if it's trying to get into a when it's trying to jump up a ledge. I've seen it used a couple times. I haven't seen a lot of Korean players actually be able to figure out how to always use it. But what that allows the Reaper to do is it allows the Reaper to travel at a very, very fast rate, as that Reaper now trying to micro itself and now move out. So this one Reaper and an SCV making its way. This SCV will act like a probe, and trying to take down drones, because an SCV's attack plus 2 attacks from that Reaper will be able to take down 1 drone. However, that Reaper the Reaper being shooed away by 1 queen there. So that SCV, if it's on attack move, will be able to take some of that damage as well. So you can see that the SCV trying to move a little bit more in front there, and that queen now trying to give chase. Queen doing a good job staying on top of that creep though. And now we see a bunker coming into position. So this queen now perhaps going to try to deal damage towards this bunker as the double Reaper is now going to put more and more pressure here. We do see the Roach Warren already in place. So the Roach Warren coming up in a very, very relatively short amount of time, only 55 units of time, as it tries to continue to do more and more pressure. So this one queen taking a lot of damage now, and no queen being trained up out of this hatchery. So that queen will be stuck there for quite some time. We do see this bunker here, and now we see some Reapers moving back all the way to this Xel'Naga Watchtower. Not quite sure why. I guess this bunker is more here to act as a scouting mechanism instead of trying to do anything else. We should be seeing some roaches moving out in just a moment, as we are now upgrading the tier 2. So yeah, those roaches are going to be used in order to deal damage towards this bunker. We do see 1 starport now being built as well. So this may go into some Banshee play, and Banshee play would be pretty interesting at this stage, as there is not enough anti-air units besides this one queen. The queen has already taken some damage as well. We do see 2 Reapers sitting down over here, and now I have to believe that FruitSeller is just kind of scratching his head, trying to figure out what exactly the STC is doing. Roach is now moving out. Perhaps, yeah, they're going to start firing at this bunker. STC needs to salvage this bunker in time. Will he be able to salvage it? And there it goes, able to salvage, not able to read Korean. But I think that was more of like a, hey, you bunkered me and didn't even put anything inside. And maybe a little bit of a wink there. As these roaches finally move out. However, Reaper's trying to put in a little bit of pressure. However, the Zerglings, they're on the high ground, able to push this attack back. Once again, 1 Overlord here. An SCV activating the Xel'Naga Watchtower will run for his mechanical life, as these roaches are now scampering about, perhaps trying to put put in and deal damage here. So now we see cloaking research and being researched. Not quite sure why the starport just didn't do a swap there instead of anything else. So now we see those roaches trying to come out, and Hellions taking some damage. So that was a little bit of a misplay. Now roaches have a range of 3 right now. Hellions have a range of 5. So Hellion versus roaches will be fairly difficult. And now one Marine on this high ground. Those roaches trying to put pressure onto that supply depot. That supply depot taking a fair amount of damage as well. SCVs coming off the mineral line in order to try to repair it. However, those roaches will be able to one-shot any of those SCVs. We do see some Hellions and some Reapers over here. Perhaps they'll put some pressure down as this 2 Marines trying to deal more and more damage and only able to take down one of those roaches. However, those Hellions now moving around the map. Will they be able to put any pressure down? Oh no, nicely done. Reapers now in the back of the base as they were trying to deal with the Hellions. And now Hellions coming in through the front. Will they be able to get a decent amount of splash onto those units? However, Zerglings will be able to get a decent surround there. And now poor Hellion without the Infernal Pre-Igniter will be forced to retreat home. However, a Banshee now on the move. So one Banshee already moving out across the map, and now we see one poor SCV not even being microed there as this Banshee perhaps trying to engage and take down some of these lower hit point units here and deal some damage. We do see the Queen. We also need to see an Overseer Cocoon in just a moment as the cloaking research has been completed. Zergling's now down over here, and now we see 3 Marines in that bunker. A 4th Marine will be able to join it in just a moment as this starport or as this Banshee is now cloaked, going after those units there. So one drone down, now going after that Queen. That Queen very low on hit points, and now going to take some damage onto more and more of those drones once again. We do see the Overseer Cocoon currently being morphed into play. So that Overseer Cocoon needing only about 5 or 6 more seconds will be out in just a moment. That Banshee trying to get as much damage as possible, able to get 8 quick kills. Will it be able to get 9 kills is the question. Now perhaps 10, 1, 2, yeah, able to get 10 kills. And that is a lot of damage to be dealt. 500 minerals gone from drones. We do see a swarm of Mutalisks, 2 Mutalisks, a couple of Roaches and Zerglings over here on that low ground army-wise. 1475 versus 400, so it almost feels like STC's not really producing all that much. His harvester count is at 21. However, FruitSeller is sitting at 7. So FruitSeller really needs to put pressure in now. Otherwise, he's not going to be able to come back into this game economically speaking. One Viking in the air with that range of 9. Mutalisks do not want to engage because there is that bunker, and that bunker is close enough in order to deal damage, and very nicely done because of these bunkers and a range of 6 on those Marines. One SCV hanging out in a bunker trying to just chill with some Marines. Able to just push back any sort of harassment there. So one Viking in the air, and as this game continues, it is just going to go swing in favor of the STC, even though the STC has even though the STC has a smaller army. However, we may get a Baneling bust. So Zergling's trying to test that front door, and now we're going to go for a Baneling bust. This poor bunker over here, is it going to be salvaged is the question. Another supply depot here, and those Banelings quickly coming in, able to take that down. Down goes that. We do have a Thor, however, so the Thor now coming in and joining on this fight. We do have a lot of SCVs over here, and now SCVs coming off the mineral line on auto repair. One Thor trying to fight back and forth. We do see some Zerglings now trying to scamper about. However, the Thor will get taken down. Down it goes, and now a lot of SCVs trying to repair this bunker down to 100 hit points. However, there are a lot of units, and a Viking coming in the ground mode to try to finish off this fight as well. And now we see Fruit Vendor just continuing to push. However, there are so many SCVs surrounding this that those Zerglings are unable to get within combat range as this bunker continuing to fire, deal more and more damage. And I believe FruitSeller will be forced to say GG, as those Zerglings are not going to be able to do really anything. So those Zerglings just trying to run around, perhaps deal some sort of damage, but it's not going to really be able to deal all that much, especially as there is now more and more Hellions pushing out, and FruitSeller how did that work? How did FruitSeller leave the game and then give the little cry face? Anyways, so FruitSeller also says GG and gives a little crying face. So really nicely played by the STC. STC using one early Banshee and able to get a lot of damage in there. Also was able to come in with some Hellions and with some Reapers, just constantly harassing the mineral line of FruitSeller. FruitSeller unable to take his natural expansion, and off of one hatchery, even though he had spawn larva from the Queen, was not able to get a very strong economy going. This was a very successful front door push. However, because the STC decided to move his whole entire base back and only about this distance here, he was able to salvage that bunker, get the additional minerals, and then train up more Marines, more Hellions to deal with that attack. It was very important that he also pulled SCVs off the mineral line and then try to have them repair this bunker here. Perhaps if he had them on auto repair, that Thor would have been trained as well. That Thor was also instrumental in taking down and dealing a lot of damage towards FruitSeller's Mutalisk. Now, there is the magic box technique, and that's the reason why a lot of Terran players recently have not been getting Thors to counter Mutalisk. My whole entire stance is, and even though there is the magic box technique, get 1 or 2 Thors. And the magic box technique requires concentration and it requires micro in order to make sure that your Mutalisks do not group up. So you want to force your opponent to see if they will make a mistake. If they do make a mistake, or if they fly in with a group of Mutalisks early like FruitSeller did, not knowing that there was a Thor, then that can also swing the game as well. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. I hope you like this 1v1 game between FruitSeller and the STC here in the Xel'Naga Caverns.